Okay. Okay, everybody. So this vid has been bothering me for a few days. Recently, this video went viral regarding this wheelchair-bound man who was a Marine vet and now has lost both of his legs being attacked by a group of cops. Now, apparently, a neighbor had called in to complain about him doing something to her fence or her plants. From what I've heard, it never happened. Either way, this results in a group of cops being called over for this guy in a wheelchair whose property they walked right up onto, refusing to back off or leave his property as he repeatedly screamed at them to get the fuck out and that they could get a warrant if they wanted to come onto his property. So this guy right here is filming the entire encounter, which includes the cops standing in his face and some usual pig way of trying to intimidate a Marine veteran before pulling him out of his wheelchair, throwing him on the ground, and arresting him for who the hell knows what. I couldn't even find what the charges were, although I hear it was for assaulting an officer, which I don't know how a guy with no legs in a wheelchair could have posed any type of significant threat to cause cops to believe that they were in danger. You know, obviously, it's all just a flimsy pretext for putting their hands on this guy. Anyway, 2 or 3 days after this video went viral, it's finally been announced that the charges against this man have been dropped. Wow, just like that, huh? You know, in other words, they've decided not to add insult to injury by allowing this guy whose property they trespassed on before surrounding and intimidating him, followed by physically assaulting him, by picking his ass up and throwing it on his face in his own yard, to just go home and not face legal fees or jail time. Actually, he may still owe legal fees. A GoFundMe has been set up for this guy to the tune of almost $25,000 already. And supposedly we're all supposed to go, well, okay, well, that's fine. It's just a misunderstanding. At least he's okay now. No, he's not fucking okay now. And neither should any of you. This is what people mean when they say ACAB. All cops are bastards. This is what people are talking about when they say you need to defund departments. These people get too much money. These people have too much immunity. It's fucking sickening. They cause more harm than good. It's pathetic. Anyway, here's the video.
Off of my property. I do not want to speak to you. You have no consent to be on my property. Get off now. Get off of my property. Get off of my property now.
He shouldn't have had to say it more than once. They're on his property. He's telling them right out, no warrant, get off my property. Now they're trespassing, you know. They know what that means because they've had to do it for businesses through COVID. They have to do it every day. You force your way into my apartment, you come onto my property, I tell you once to get off. You don't immediately turn tail and flee, then you're trespassing. You're committing a crime. This guy has clearly stated multiple times, get the fuck off my property. You want back on my property, you're going to have to get a warrant. They stand there and they stare at him. And they have no right to do so. You just heard it from him. He said, get the fuck out.
Get off of my property, please. So get off of my property. I don't care. She called you for some bullshit and you showed up in 5 seconds. Get off of my...
I've got to find another version of this. Looks like they're taking it down, all these copies, by the minute. TYT video. Yes. Good for TYT. The following contains police brutality because that's exactly what it is. This was not a guy assaulting police. This was not a guy causing any problems for anyone. This is a video showing straight up police brutality.
You're in my yard and
You got something! Do not put that in my face. You got something going on my property. She has a protocol with all these stupid people.
You on film.
Get off!
You on film. You on film. You on film in my yard.
Sir, we're going to pick you up. We're going to put you back in the wheelchair here, okay?
You want to do this?
You're really going to do this all the time. They didn't do anything else until I got this property.
Get off my property.
Oh, my God.
No, get...
Wheelchair-bound Marine veteran was treated this way by Ohio cops. Here's what led to it.
Can you get off my property, please?
Okay.
Get off of my property. I do not want to speak to you. You have no consent to be on my property. Get off now. Get off of my property.
And look at these fat fucks just standing there. And supposedly, even after charges were dropped, the chief or precinct or head pig in charge, I don't know who the hell it is, actually states today that he believes the officers showed amazing restraint. That's what they were doing. They were showing amazing restraint in the face of this horrible, nasty man in a wheelchair with no legs who was assaulting them. This is not showing restraint. Restraint would be if you accepted what he said, turned your fat fucking asses around and walked off his property, like you should have done the first time he told you to leave. That would be showing restraint. Showing restraint is not trying to intimidate him. And then, you know what? Nothing's going to happen to us. Who cares what anybody has to say? Just grab him and throw him right the fuck out of his wheelchair. Straddle a legless man, dig his face into the dirt in his own front yard, and accuse him of assault because you don't like him telling you to get off his property.
Get off of my property now. Get off of my property, please.
So
Get off of my property. I don't care. She called you for some and you showed up in 5 seconds. Get off of my...
I'm just trying to get your side.
Please get off of my property. I have no side.
So she wanted
Get
to
off my
talk
property.
about how you
Get off my property.
damage to her fence.
Get off my property.
What amazing restraint they're showing. They're going to agitate this guy even more by completely ignoring the fact he has every fucking right to tell you to get the fuck off his property. You don't have a warrant, which obviously he's not giving you permission to be there. That means you need a warrant if you want to come back onto his property. This guy is showing restraint, not you.
You didn't see no damage. And just to let you know, the body cam is showing that he refused to get off my property. Get off my property now.
So
Get off my property,
so
man.
she's showing damage.
Get
to
off
the
my
fence,
property,
so
man.
It took 3 of them.
And notice they're blocking the walkway so he can't leave. He's not listening to anything they say because he doesn't have to listen. This is his house, not yours. And he is repeatedly saying, get the fuck fuck off my property. Now they're blocking his access. They know he's in a wheelchair. They see he's disabled. And that's what this is really about. What is he going to do about it? What is he going to do to stop us?
Get off my property, man. Get off my property. Get off my property. You want me to defend myself? You want to see how I go?
Criminal damage that happened. This is what happened. Is we come over and get your side of the story, just like we went over and got her side of the story, right?
Get off my property. Get off
through.
Get off my property.
Hold on. You're gonna make him fall.
Property, bitch. Get off.
He's ramming a police officer. No, no.
Ramming a police officer. I believe it's actually illegal what you're doing to a man in a wheelchair on his own property. You are purposely blocking his access.
You will get arrested too. You will get arrested too.
And if any of you have anything to say, you're going to get arrested too.
But you will get arrested too if you do not let us do what we have to do. Can I explain something to you?
It took 3 officers to come over here.
Listen, can I explain something to you?
What's that?
Can we reason?
He got to get off my husband like that.
It's a damn shame. There's more. The individual who posted this, the TikToker, Jolly Good Ginger, who helped in this incident, amplify it, explains how this happened to Mr. Mel Court. Here it is.
His neighbor, Cheryl Cade, called the police because she was accusing her neighbor, Mel Court, of damaging her fence. This is a video of the fence in question. The fence is 38 years old and runs along the adjacent properties. Cheryl Cade, the neighbor, has no proof or evidence that Mel Court damaged her fence, and he didn't, but she decided on October 21st to accuse him of it and then call the police.
Okay, there's more. Here it is.
I'm in the backyard. Some old bitch called and said I broke his fence, and this dickhead come and throw me out my wheelchair and put me in his guts. I told him from the beginning, you're not welcome on my property. Don't come on my property.
The only thing I would bother saying that this guy did wrong is saying anything to them. They want to arrest him, they can go ahead and arrest him. He knows that he has a right to keep them off his property. You know, they chose to ignore it because, like I said, he's in a wheelchair, so what's he going to do about it? That's all that this was about. I don't care what anybody has to say. This is the whole reason this incident occurred. They saw a guy in a wheelchair, no legs, and they can do whatever the fuck they want. He's not going to do anything to be able to fight back. You know, it's just a typical pig bitch move to then accuse the guy of assault when you block his access on his own property from getting away from you, which he has every right to do, just like he had every right to tell you to get the fuck off his lawn. You know, this is what the problem is. This is what people mean when they say we have a serious problem with cops in this country. We have a serious problem with policing. We have a serious manhood problem in this country. And then, you know, this is also part of the reason everybody knows cops are stupid, that this whole thing is recorded. And they don't seem to care. They actually believe that they will remain protected in this age of the web where everybody can post, record, transfer anything they want in the form of video, audio, which the bystanders did here. And, you know, don't let anybody fool you. Don't try to say that it's anything else. The whole reason the charges against this guy were dropped is because the video went viral. It's because when other people from the outside actually get to witness what they've done to an innocent person, they're going to actually look bad. They know they're wrong. They know their policies are wrong. Their methods are wrong. Everything about what they did to this man is wrong. And dropping the charges is, obviously, they were going to have to do something. If they really didn't do anything wrong, if the guy really does feel so proud of his cops for acting so perfectly like little angels, little thumb-shaped angels, for, you know, doing what they did to this man, then why would they drop the charges? Yeah, there shouldn't have been any charges to begin with. They dropped it in an attempt to try to make this go away. At least if they drop the charges, send this guy home, maybe then everybody will shut up. And then they won't hold these pigs accountable.
He proceeded to walk on my property, block my path, and then told me I can't have. Look at my wrist. Take these.
These cowards don't care that you have your own home. These cowards don't care about your property rights. These cowards don't care that you committed no crime. They don't care that you serve the country, sir. They also don't care that you're in a wheelchair. They don't care.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's what it's all about. That's what it is. They don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter he's a veteran. It doesn't matter he's disabled. It doesn't matter what his problems are. It doesn't matter it's his home. It doesn't matter it's his property. It doesn't matter he has every right to say exactly what he said to your ugly ass face. Doesn't matter. All they saw was an opportunity to strong arm a guy that they know couldn't fight back.
The irony of this, in addition to what you see, the fence in question is actually on the property of Mr. Court. Yeah, the fence is on his property. They built the fence and committed trespass when they did so.
So that's something new I didn't hear. I thought the ginger guy from TikTok or whatever said it was just already there on the property line. Actually, you want to know something? I don't care whose property line it was on or whose property it was on. You know, this is no different than Barbecue Becky or Water Bottle Wanda or any of these other Karens that have called cops on black children. Something wrong with a chain link fence absolutely did not warrant any of this. None of this. But like this man says, like I'm saying, it doesn't matter. Maybe if he had legs, maybe if he were standing on his own 2 feet, maybe if he were inside his home at the time and didn't answer the door, none of this would have happened. I honestly believe, and I hesitate to even use the word believe because it's probably just an all-out fact. There's a pattern in the way cops treat innocent people. There's a pattern in all of these videos, all of these documented attacks on people, a pattern of thought, warped thought and behavior, and it's in everything they say, it's in everything they don't say, it's in what they do, it's in what they don't do. Maybe it's a direct result of training, maybe it's a direct result of a mix of low IQ with serious manhood problems, or I don't know, complexes these people have, which is why they go into policing. It's It's like a group of horrible people getting together to decide to bully somebody. That's exactly what we're seeing in all kinds of videos like this. This is kind of like a textbook example of why people are anti-cop and why people want serious repercussions for pigs like this. He knew what his rights were, and I don't mean in the way a sovereign citizen thinks they know what their rights are because they make up their own rights. I'm talking, this guy, he was a goddamn Marine vet. He lost both his legs in Iraq, okay? He knows it's his property. Authorities do not come onto his property unless they have a warrant. If he invites them, that's another thing. He didn't invite them. He told them repeatedly to get the fuck out. And you can see it right on their faces. You see it as part of this pattern, you know, with all these types of videos. No, what are you going to do about it? This is a guy in a wheelchair. He's got no legs. What's he going to do about it? That's why they stayed. And they're blocking his access back to his own home. Being in a wheelchair, he needed the sidewalk. So that fat bitch over there stands her fat ass on the sidewalk and doesn't move when he tells her fat ass to get out of his way. So they decide, oh, yep, he touched me with his wheel. Let's throw his ass out of the chair. That's what they were waiting for.
Let's put his picture up when he served in the Marine Corps.
That's him.
Retired Corporal, Mel Court. I believe he deserves justice. I believe he deserves accountability for what happened to him.
Yes, he does.
He was being tortured.
Oh my God, that's another thing. This guy's a genius, okay? Yeah, it's, I use the term bullying. No, that's what it is. It's torturing a man. It's torturing a man. Do you think if he were 3 times the size and not in a wheelchair, they would have done any of this? He said it right. That's exactly what it is torture. Here's a guy with no legs in a wheelchair. They don't care that he's a vet. They don't care they're on his property. What do you mean your property? We do what we want. We don't care. And what are you going to do about it because you're in a wheelchair? That's why they blocked his path on his own property. That's why they wouldn't turn around and leave. That's why they stood there like fucking zombies. But he assaulted them because, you know, the implication is that they felt threatened. They'll use the rules for their own means. Absolutely none of this would have happened if they had respected this man's rights, if they had respected him and didn't decide they were going to stay and have a little fun, which is what it was all about. Because after all, what's he going to do about it?
A good Ginger identified the cop as Deputy Alex Caldwell. Good work on this one, by the way. Of the Licking County Sheriff's Office on the left, and Officer Zach Sarver, center, and Officer Janessa Justice of the Pataskala Police Department. Their leadership is Sheriff Randy Thorpe and Chief Bruce Brooks. According to the GoFundMe to cover legal fees, Corporal Court is a Marine Corps combat veteran who lost his legs in December 7, 2005. On the afternoon of October 21st, 2022, the corporal was working in his yard cleaning and clearing debris for the county's CAUV program when a neighbor accosted him over damage to a 38-year-old fence that was actually built on his own property by mistake, according to the narrative. So what does she do? She decided to call the local sheriff. So she calls the sheriff's office, who came to investigate the call. Corporal Court tried speaking with the officer from a distance, which did not appease the officer, who decided to come onto the property with 2 more officers and being told by Mr. Court that his presence was not welcomed on said property. You are enforcing your property rights well within your capacity to do so as an owner of the property. After numerous times of telling the officers to get off the property, and which officers failed to comply, the corporal decided to leave the scene and had his path blocked by the cops several times, and then was assaulted by them, as you saw on the video. What happened after the arrest? Well, he spent 3 days in jail. They actually took him to jail. He spent 3 days in jail, was not given his diabetes medication. So he ended up in the infirmary twice. Nor was he given proper dietary meals.
And don't think for a split second that that wasn't on purpose as well. They know exactly what they're doing. And like he said, and like I said, it's bullying. It isn't just bullying, it goes beyond that. It's torture. A lot of horrible things happen to people, especially when they stand up for themselves. Nothing pisses off a piece of shit abuser more than when you stand up for yourself. They don't like it. I had no idea this guy was diabetic. I had no idea he actually spent 3 fucking days in jail and was not given his medication, so he ended up insulin crashing twice and was not given the proper meals. Don't think for a second that wasn't on purpose.
Required. He was initially charged with assault on a peace officer, a felony, and several misdemeanors. Well, the felony was dropped, but he still has to fight the misdemeanor charges to clear his name. Did you see him commit a crime here? This case is ongoing, and any help to fight for the civil rights of this man would be greatly appreciated.
They dropped the felony. They're still gonna try to weasel money out of him through misdemeanor charges. He's still stuck with court fees. He's still stuck paying a bonus to these pigs on top of the taxes he already pays.
One of the times he ended up in an infirmary, he was in extremely serious health. He was an extremely serious health issue when he went. So he's had an ordeal because he went outside to do one thing. What? To tend to his own property. All right, we're going to continue to follow this story. I'm reaching out directly. If someone is connected to this individual and they know him, make sure you reach out to me, all right? I want to do something solid for this warrior who should not have faced what he faced. All right.
Yeah, indeed, a warrior. You know, I've always said, it's very simple. If, all of these thumb-shaped pigs really, really want to fight for something, they want to feel like big men and fat big women, and, they've got such a hard-on for beating and killing and torturing and degrading in any way conceivable the disabled, women, children, the elderly. It's always the people who cannot defend themselves. They want it so bad, maybe we should force them to join the military. I'd absolutely be for that. then everybody can win, those people who cheat the precincts and the bootlicking sycophants that, absolutely love the cops and they love the military and they don't want them facing any kind of charges because it might, cost the state. Something like this happens, they should be sent overseas. They should be forced to join the military. Yeah. Then they can do everything they've always wanted to do. They can feel just as big as they've always wanted to feel. Maybe the PTSD will help them forget about spending half their high school years stuffed in a fucking locker. And then it'll be really great for everybody. We should force them to go into the military. This guy served in the military, and he showed more balls today than all three of them fucking pigs put together. Why don't we do it? You don't have to put them in prison. You don't have to charge the state or the county anything. Put them on the first military flight to Iraq themselves. Send them to Syria. Send them somewhere. They want to feel big. Let them feel big. Give them a real reason to feel like big men and big women. Force them to join the military. Get rid of them. In the meantime, it's up to us. Nobody would have ever known about this if it weren't for this guy having bystanders to witness everything that happened and record everything that happened. I'm going to check out his GoFundMe, see what I can do, if I get a chance to actually donate something. I just more or less want to get this out here to spread the word. In case you didn't already know, it makes my blood boil every time I see a video like this. This is just the most enraging yet. I was under the impression that this kind of shit had started to go down, and it's because of all of us. It's because of the public. All right, someone's at my door. I'll see you later.